Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. Well, JP's first son, Tim Hoey, we hope will be joining us very shortly. Well, boys, we have another great show for you tonight, of course. So let's get it started. We're starting with the Boston Celtics. So the magic number is 3 to clinch the Eastern Conference. Last night played Milwaukee, got up a big lead. We always start with Russ. Russ, I just feel like all of a sudden they got bored. And that was simply enough. Disinterested.
Yep. I can tell you because Jill and I went. It was the one of the most boring, like low energy basketball games that I've ever been to live. They just, they clearly were on cruise control. They went up easily. They had every matchup, every mismatch that they wanted. And the crowd wasn't that into it because none of it really matters. There's almost no scenario in which they won't win the Eastern Conference first seed, and almost no scenario, frankly, where they won't get the number 1 seed in the whole NBA. So everyone in the building knows the outcome doesn't really matter, including the players.
Yeah, great point. Joe, this is really a month of garbage time.
Oh, yeah. Last night was the last, like legitimate opponent. The rest is just garbage time the rest of the way here. We've already started seeing Pritchard, Cornette, Hauser, and Tillman getting big minutes over the last 2-3 weeks. So, and that's going to continue.
What do the Celtics need to tighten up? Or do you really just need to get into the playoffs now because you're not going to tighten up against the Detroits and the Wizards of the world?
It's a great question. You could see Maz was actually kind of happy that lead got taken down to 3. Milwaukee kind of junked it up. They played a zone. The Celtics got good shots. They missed a bunch of good shots. Dame got hot. Their defense flagged a little bit. There was nothing
Portis went crazy.
Portis had a great game. That guy just kills us. I didn't see anything that game to be concerned about. I guess you say, Scotty, you want to make sure that when teams go to a zone against you in the playoffs, you're quick to figure it out. And I think last night it took them too long. And then it's just the end of game stuff. It's, making sure that in a shot within the last 20 seconds, fine for Tatum to take it at the right time and take it off of some action. So it's just not him pounding the ball, isoing it and throwing up a tough contested 2.
Joe, look, we see Jason Tatum 4 times a game, if they have the opportunity to take the last shot of a quarter, do the same ISO thing every time. Again, when you get to the playoffs, these 4 possessions are going to mean something.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Say the same thing LeBron says about him. Say the same thing Steph Curry has said about him. He doesn't know how to pass the ball. In that situation, he's going to ISO. All his life, he's been told to ISO. He never learned anything else. So it's better off to put the ball in D. White's hands or Holiday's hands. They'll get it to him in a better situation than a 2-on-1 ISO.
I agree with Joe.
Right. Yes. I don't mind him taking the last shot. I want the process to be. And by the way, he did it last night. So we got to give him credit when credit is due. There were 20 seconds. I can't remember if it's the second quarter or the third quarter. He had the ball. It was clearly a last shot scenario. And they ran an action. And I don't know if you guys remember, he ended up taking a shot in the paint that he made from 6 feet.
Yeah, off the board. Yeah.
That's what you want.
Oh, that one high off the blast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good play. I'm good with that. They ran an action. He took the shot early enough, but also late enough. They just got to get better at that. But we are quibbling at this point. We really are.
But I don't think it's quibbling. I think that someone else should be in control of the ball and the offensive opportunities. Jason Tatum is much more likely to get a great opportunity if the ball's in someone else's hands.
It's important, but it's not like they never do it. They just now need to do it in the most critical circumstances.
Well, maybe they'll go to it in the playoffs. Yeah. the other teams have no film on it.
Yep.
Run a whole bunch of. I bet you they got a half dozen new plays ready for the.
My
playoffs.
guess is you're right, Joe. They're not going to break out a new play against Milwaukee on national
Yeah.
TV. Doesn't
Yeah.
like why would you do that at this point?
So the Celtics are what, 55-14? I think
Your
that's
65 is looking pretty good right now.
Here's
We laugh
so
at you.
how about this? This is here's 3 stats for you I saw earlier today. Best offense of all time.
Yeah.
Top 3 net rating of all time. And the highest win percentage since the 2017 Warriors.
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
How about that? That's like
it's a machine. It's a machine, but this is the problem. You have to win a championship.
Of course, but like we can't like here. But now I'm going to go off on you a little bit. Well, not you, but the people who keep saying that in the national media and we're blaming the Celtics for something they haven't done yet, which is we're blaming them for losing a championship that they haven't lost yet.
No, but we're blaming for past performances where
This is a different team, Scotty. This is a different team.
It is a different team, right? But the 2 main guys on the team still exist, and they
Yes.
Failed 5 times,
look. And once they win
got
one
it.
championship, they are gods in this town forever.
Of course.
Just
Of
one.
course. But a lot of these guys didn't win championships until they were at least Brown and Tatum's age, right?
Oh,
Kobe
Like,
didn't
we're
win one
blaming-
without
in some
Shaq
ways-
until he was 29.
In some ways, the Celtics are getting blamed for being too early to make the finals in the conference finals. That's what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
blaming them
Level.
for,
That's true.
right?
The first one there, they never should have been there against
Never
Cleveland.
should have been there, and they were within one freaking blocked shot in one make of making the finals that they never had any business making.
No, agree. Jaylen Brown's again. We're used to them beating up on teams and stuff, but once you get to the playoffs, everything matters. Jaylen Brown's free throw shooting is a problem, and
In the fourth quarter,
the teams,
especially.
the other teams in the playoffs, they have television sets. They know in crunch time, this could be foul Jaylen Brown.
Could be,
Hack
and
it,
he's just going to
Jaylen.
need to make them.
Yeah.
Now he made the 2 late, and he was, I think, 7 for 10
Then
overall
he missed
last
the
night, which
two.
was he missed it too early, but he made the 2 late. It's not like he's got the yips where he can't make a foul shot. It's the
Right.
problem is he always seems to miss one, and in key moments, right?
It was Tillman, and what do you guys think of Xavier Tillman now that we've seen more of him?
I got to tell you, that I'm mesmerized by how fast he can move his feet, how quick his feet are, and to stay in front of smaller, faster guys. I don't think I've ever seen a big man with lighter feet. Like Big Baby, actually, remember, he had like light feet when he would guard guys.
Yeah.
But this guy is another level.
He undressed Dame Lillard on one play.
Oof.
It was unbelievable. He was faster going backwards than Dame was going forward.
Yep. I saw that play, Joe.
Last ditch hope for somebody to be able to take Jokic?
I mean, I don't think anyone, but
No.
yeah, I mean, he'll make it harder for Jokic to score. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a big enough presence that he can lay his body on him and tire him out a little. Maybe slow him down come the fourth quarter.
Because
He doesn't have much of an offensive game, though, guys. Like, that's clear.
he's
He can
no
make a corner
finisher, that's
three.
for sure.
He can do a dribble handoff. Not a bad passer, but it's rough around the net, you know.
But we should be rooting, and obviously we'll talk about. We should be rooting for Denver not to be in the finals. I think.
Yes. Yeah. We should.
We got to
I'm
hope
not
the
scared to say
cat
that.
comes back in Minnesota because Rudy Gobert,
Scotty,
the one guy that kind of handles Jokic.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Scotty, who don't you want to play in the first or second round if you're the Celtics?
Sixers. I don't want any part of the Sixers
With Embiid back.
Yeah,
with him being back.
because Russ, you talked about when we were in the bubble, getting exhausted to get to the conference finals, and by the time we got there, we were tapped out. You need a layup in the first round. Last year we had Atlanta, right?
Yep.
And
And that wasn't a layup. They took us to 6 games. That was part of the problem last year.
but it wasn't an exhausting.
No.
They didn't get leaned on. So they could come out of that fairly healthy. You play Embiid, and you're gonna come out of that beat up.
They're the number 8 seed right now, but they've been losing so much. They're in danger of falling right out of the playoffs if he doesn't
Well,
get.
it's impossible. I mean, they
You
can't
got to
fall
get
out of the play-in.
10.
Well, there's 43. They have 31 losses, and the Nets have 43. So they're not going to fall out of the play-in.
That's right.
I don't know about you guys. I'm rooting. I'm the biggest Sixers fan there is now because I want them to get that 6th seed, so we don't see them until the conference finals, basically.
Yeah. I
But
want
they're losing every game.
Chicago.
I'm making money betting against them.
I want Chicago. Oh my God.
Yeah, Chicago or Atlanta.
Yeah,
right.
That's who you want. I mean, Atlanta.
Frankly, I don't think Indiana. Halliburton's not playing as well lately, and they just can't play defense well enough to stop us. I'm not even that scared of it. Indiana will take a game or two, but
I think it could be a problem if they win one game of the 2 at home, and then all of a sudden you got them back at home. They're so athletic.
Yeah,
I'm afraid all of a sudden the Celtics are going to start looking a little old.
And Indiana doesn't look so bad anymore. Without Hield, that changes the way they look.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the Heat?
Oh, I'll take them right now. I don't have.
You are. This is what the mistake you made last year. Yeah. You put the kiss of death. Like you probably were at least 30% of the reason why the Celtics lost.
I know.
Eastern Conference Championship.
Jason Tatum does not like zone defenses.
You jinxed them. You jinxed them as bad as any human being has ever jinxed a team. The Heat were up 3-0, and you're like, they suck. They shouldn't even be in the same building with us. And then of course, we made the run. But you're partly responsible for the Celtics not making the finals last year.
I know. I apologize publicly. I know.
You should.
3-0. I'm like, we'll still take them.
and as I recall, Tyler Herro didn't even play in that series.
Freaking guy, Caleb Martin. He did a deal with the devil.
Oh,
he
and
got on an all-time
Vincent
heater.
Killed us in that.
He got on an all-time heater. That guy couldn't make a shot in the finals. Caleb Martin. I mean, he looked like Romeo Langford in the finals. For God's sakes.
Look, they acquired KP Porzingis for
that zone.
I mean, literally, that was and they've proven this season they can't handle the Celtics. The Celtics are wiping them out. They don't know what to do with Porzingis. So, Joe, to answer your question, they can't do that zone anymore because Porzingis breaks it.
Well, Milwaukee did it just fine last night. It flummoxes. You can't put the ball in Tatum's hands then. You have to put it in someone else's hands.
It's Porzingis is the whole, by the way, the dirty secret is I watched that game last night. Porzingis didn't play particularly well. He was 0 for 5. Porzingis is the zone breaker. You put Porzingis, you get him the ball in the middle, and that zone is broken. They will not be able to stay with the zone if Porzingis is doing what he should be doing. And he didn't play well last night.
Look,
you put him on until that fabulous rebound and putback that he had there with about a minute and a half to go. He's really tied for that one.
Just put him on ice. I don't even want to see him.
Absolutely. Play him one out of every. I mean, you got to play him enough to. You've got to play him well. You got to play him enough to stay conditioned. Play him one out of every 3 games at this point.
Once a week, he's just this 50-year-old.
One out of every 3 games. They play basically 3 games a week.
That's all you need to do. And same with Al. They're gonna have to say, we can't afford to lose Al, and he has played incredible this season.
Yeah.
I mean, what has he got?
Can I ask you? I got another question for you. How you feeling about Peyton Pritchard these days?
No, Peyton Pritchard's he's been fine. The kid hustles.
Can he really play in the playoffs? Because this was your point. You never said Peyton Pritchard sucked. Just to give you credit, and you don't hate Peyton Pritchard. Your only question was, can Peyton Pritchard play, 12 minutes to 15 minutes in a playoff game? Do you think he can now after watching him this season?
He can, but they're going to have to be very careful to see what kind of matchups there are. Because he hustles though. The kid can rebound. He reminds me a lot of Rondo, just in the way he has a real sense of rebounding and even following up his shot. He's improved dramatically this season.
He has.
I mean, that's
His shooting has stayed the same. I think he was always a good shooter, but I think his defense has really started improving halfway through last year, and has really improved. His footwork's improved, and the rebounding was always there. He's got a good sense of timing, crashing the
Yeah.
boards from the corner there.
Do you know that statistically, when Pritchard's on the court, the Celtics are in, I think the basically the 95th percentile in offensive rebounding, and when he's off the court, they're in like the 20th percentile. Like he's literally the difference in about 80 percentage points relative to the rest of the league in terms of offensive.
He's
offensive
got a
rebounding.
good sense of timing. He's usually in the corner on offense.
Yeah.
And when the shot goes up, he times it just right that he sneaks past all the big guys and he's right
Yep.
there.
Dennis Rodman proved it's all hustle. You hustle.
Yeah.
in the
That's right.
NBA.
And
Steals
other
and
thing is-
offensive rebounds. Always been
well, the other
hustle
thing is
stats.
he has permission to crash the boards. If you look,
Yeah.
typically he's the only offensive player who's crashing the boards because everyone else has been told to get back. And I think the Celtics are like, if Pritchard doesn't get back, it's not the end of the world, right? He's
You're right.
our worst defender. So it's worth having him go in and try to snag an offensive rebound or two because we can make up for it on the other end if we don't get back.
But don't lose sight, the first few years when Pritchard and Tatum were on the court together, he would bring it past half court and just immediately hand it to Tatum and go away.
Right.
But I think
Right.
he has more cachet, more confidence in his game, more
Yes.
confidence. I think that maybe the contract helped too. And it's not that. He's playing basketball now. He's not just yielding to the best player on the court in the Celtics. And
Oh, yeah, he's taking the ball down, he's probing the defense, and then making the
Mhm.
right play with the ball.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, you're
signing.
right, Joe. He's clearly what his move is now. He'll take the ball down,
Down
he'll
the
come
wing.
through the lane, he'll sweep through the
Yeah.
lane and
Yeah.
probe. If he's got an easy layup or a lob,
Yeah.
he'll do that. Otherwise, he'll bring it back out and around again. And his ball handling is amazing. That three that he hit over Gallinari last night
Oh.
looked like peak Kyrie.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a great handle on the ball. That behind the back, between the legs, and then step back and
Holy smokes.
Well, we never saw Gallinari play for the Celtics, and we didn't miss anything.
Yeah. He's a big lumbering shooter now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. Tatum, Brown, Porzingis. That's the order of the top three players, or do we? Are we? Would you put Derek White over Porzingis?
I
this
would.
season?
Some games. I mean, I think it's Tatum and Brown, and then you've got like a kind of toggle off with White, I think.
I just want to talk quickly and reiterate the trade that two trades that Brad Stevens made. The Porzingis trade is one of the greatest steals of all time. Porzingis, and then we got 2 first-round draft picks
Mm-hmm.
from Marcus
For
Smart,
Marcus Smart.
and garbage, and a second-round pick in Muscala and
Right.
whatever.
And Gallinari.
It's
Right.
it's remarkable.
This was all about Porzingis's injury history, Scotty. The only reason why you're making that deal if you're Washington is A, you don't want to pay him the max, and B, he was relatively healthy last year, and I'm sure the Wizards were looking at it like, if the asset gets injured this year, we're gone, we're dead. Like he'll be worth nothing. So let's get what we can for him.
But then they signed him to an extension right away too. Even more brilliant at
Absolutely.
lower. What is it, about
Yeah.
26, 27 million?
Right. But why do you think? I mean, there's 2 reasons why Porzingis would sign that. One is he wants to win a championship, and 2, he knows he's an injury risk. So take the money. It's perfect. And they've done a masterful job of keeping him healthy all year long.
Now the Holiday deal, he paid a lot for that. I mean, that was Brogdon, Williams, the Warriors picked that. Russell, you know that I didn't want him to give that up.
Yeah, I know.
And
Thank God they came
not
on a
looking
little
so
bit.
bad
It's a
now
little bit bad.
because
they
Golden
came on,
State
thank
looks
God.
like they're going to make the playoffs.
There was a lot, Scotty. Those 3 things were
plus the 29 unprotected pick. Yeah, it's 29. I checked yesterday.
Really? No,
It's kind of strange. 29.
no.
Were
Scotty, the 29 unprotected pick is
it's the Celtics, I think.
no. I thought that was the Derek White swap or something. You might be right. I might be wrong. I didn't think that they gave up a second pick for that.
Well, that's what I saw yesterday. You can check, confirm. But I thought, They didn't. I mean, that's a nice deal, and we like Holiday, but he didn't exactly. And he gave up a lot to give.
Oh yeah,
Holiday.
no,
Yeah, but
like
Holiday
he
has
had
brought
to.
a presence and an attitude that a much more professional way of doing things that has changed the team more than anyone else this year.
No, I agree, Joe, but I just don't think he fleeced him on that one.
Oh no, he
He
didn't
didn't
fleece
fleece
him
him.
on that.
No.
He got value back for it.
No, but he fleeced the Wizards and the
Yeah.
Grizzlies, whatever that that combination that was. You could have you would have been
But it
lucky.
wasn't that like a 3-team swap, and
Yeah, yeah.
the Wizards always end up get with the short end of the stick somehow.
Yeah, no, I like Holiday. I mean, obviously, he's a perfect fit.
He's just changed the demeanor of the team. They're much more business like. They take care of business. No more crappy just don't showing up for games and stuff. Much more professional this year.
Oh yeah, I thought Brogdon was very. I thought Brogdon was very serious too and very
Yeah.
mature. And but Holiday's very similar to that. Obviously, a better player than Brogdon.
Sets a better tone on the floor as the point guard than Brogdon did. I thought Brogdon did a wonderful job with the second team. He did wonders to the plus minus he used to have with the second unit was commendable for sure.
You're right, Scotty. I forgot that unprotected 29. You're exactly right. It was an unprotected 29. That's a lot. But look, once you traded Smart, you created a big, remember, had they not made this trade, your three guards would have been Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, and Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
That's risky, right? Brogdon is extremely injury prone. And Pritchard would have been really playing 25, 30 minutes a night, and your defense really would have suffered.
Yeah. No, I'm
That
not
was
saying
the bet they
they
made.
shouldn't have done the
No,
deal.
I know you're not. It's a fair point. They gave up a lot, and it was because they traded. The sliding door moment would have been had they not included Smart in that trade for Porzingis. Because remember, the trade originally was Brogdon, and they got squirrely about the medicals. Had they not traded Smart, they probably wouldn't have gotten Holiday. Your team you would have Rob Williams, and you'd have Marcus Smart on this team.
And we talked about before. That's not a stronger
With
team
Porzingis, right? I don't think it's as strong a team as you have.
No. Well, look, Marcus Smart's not even playing. We knew he was dead physically.
He got ejected the other night and he wasn't even playing.
Yeah, he's got a broken hand, finger. He's done physically. He gave everything he had to the Celtics. That was very predictable. And Rob can't keep healthy in the court. Again, Rob is not even meant for the modern game anyways. It was brilliant, but again, we need to win a championship. If not, we know come 2029, everybody's going, what the heck did Brad do? I mean, unprotected, scary. Always a scary scenario.
Yeah, it's always a scary. I mean, you get a bad injury that year, and all of a sudden you're in the lottery, and God forbid. But that's all right. We're okay.
Well, obviously, 5 years from now, but he did what he had to do. I mean, he went for it with the Holiday.
Yeah, he's given us a 2-year window here.
Yeah,
where you could possibly not just possibly, you're more likely than not to win 2 championships.
Oh, no, we hope, Joe.
I don't know about
Let's
that,
get to one. Let's get to one.
Yeah, just give me one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
get one for us, but the odds makers like them too.
Well, I said this 2 years ago before we played the NBA Finals. I said if the Celtics win now, they'll run off 2 or 3 in the next 5 years. And,
So confidence is the only thing. In some ways, if they can get out of their own way, they really are more talented than anyone else. But I think you would imagine are they favored? Well, no, there'd be home court advantage for the Celtics. So the Celtics would probably be favored to win that series against Denver. But Denver's really good. I don't think it wouldn't be a huge upset if Denver beat the Celtics in the finals. They have the best player.
Denver does have a great home court advantage in that Mile High City. It is, stamina means a lot when you get out there.
Denver's my favorite team to watch other than the Celtics. I like watching them.
Guys, amazing.
Murray is great to watch.
Typically the team that has the best player on it wins the finals. So we really would hope that Denver doesn't make the finals because
Oh,
Tatum's not better than Jokic. Sorry.
yeah. He's
Right.
special, that guy. Like, he's a very unique player. And also, he's similar to Marcus Smart. Those guys, he's like a big bouldering type rhinoceros
Yeah.
almost. These guys don't like contact with him.
No.
That doesn't feel good on their body. You can
No.
He's the size of two other guys out there. He's big.
Porzingis wants no part of him.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, Porzingis
He'd get
doesn't have
hurt going
enough
near you.
lower. He just doesn't have enough lower body mass or strength to deal with Jokic. He just doesn't.
And he pushes
moves
Al
him
around
around.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
That's
All
why
right.
we got to hope Tillman leans on him.
That's right. You got to hope Tillman can lean on him.
him. Or we signed Seme Ojale. All right, boys, we got to go to the Patriots. I am so weary. I knew this was going to be the case. I don't know if you guys so weary about the whole mock drafts and who we're going to take, trades. I get caught up on it. Every week is different. You know who's trending.
It's so simple though.
But well,
The quarterback you want, if the guy that comes, you end up with the three, you like him, you take him. If not, you trade back. There's lots of people that want him, and they'll give you 3 first-round picks for him. You take the 3 first-round picks and get yourself an offensive, a left tackle, a wide receiver, and a good defender.
Joe, as much as it pains me to admit, I could not agree with you anymore. That's exactly what you do.
I love the Vikings scenario because it's 11 and 23. At 11, there's 2 top-tier offensive tackles and 3 top wide receivers. At 11, one of those guys is going to be there. At 23, then you take a defender. And then with your first pick in the second round, which is what, the 34th or
32nd, 33rd, yeah.
That's when you go for either the offensive tackle or the wide receiver that you didn't.
No, Joe.
When are you taking a quarterback?
Offense.
Are you taking a quarterback?
Maybe with that second round one. The scuttlebutt is that I've heard is the only big signing they've made is Onwenu, right? And they said he's going to play right tackle. There's only one left-handed quarterback out there, Penix. He won't go until like that's beginning of the second round.
Well, maybe, yeah. I mean, that's where I am. Is if they don't like the QB and they trade down, I really want them to take one of those top 6 quarterbacks. If you figure McCarthy, Nix, and Penix, like you got to get a one quarter. And it doesn't mean you wouldn't draft another quarterback next year, but like you can't come out of this draft with Spencer Rattler in the 4th round as a developmental quarterback.
I'll take Spencer Rattler anytime. I doubt he'll last you 4. But
you know,
I take him. I don't mind taking 2 developmental quarterbacks.
Well, I don't mind, but I want one of those top 6 quarterbacks. I'd be bummed if they don't take one of the top 6.
In 2001, or was it 2000? We carried 4 quarterbacks: Bledsoe,
that'd be fine.
Brady, Freed.
I just don't.
And was it Davies?
Yeah, I think you're right. But like Joe, the question is, would you be happy if their quarterback room last year was Jacoby Brissett and Spencer Rattler?
Yes, I would have preferred it to what we did have.
Well, yeah, but of course, but like I don't know. Here's the problem: is
I think we're going to keep.
This may be your
Bailey
best shot
Zappi.
at getting a. This may be your best shot for a while at getting a top 3 to 6 quarterback. I don't know. I just think I'm totally with you. What I want them to do is if they do make those trades, I'd love to see them, come up with the quarterback in the first 3 rounds, the quarterback, the offensive lineman, and the wide receiver.
I'm just thinking that, they're getting the run to the litter of the 3. They're getting 3rd choice. They don't like that. They should trade back. They shouldn't just accept the 3rd
I agree.
guy because they're there, because he's a quarterback. He can get a quarterback at 11 or 23 or at 33,
Could they luck out and J.J. McCarthy be taken by the Commanders at 2?
No, it's not.
No, I doubt it.
No,
to
Kuiper
Drake.
brought that up.
I
He-
mean,
Well,
look, that
Mel
would be
Kiper's never
fantastic.
been right.
That'd be fine. I mean, then you take your pick of 4 quarterbacks, right? You can get the third of 4, right?
well, this guy Osborne,
second
when he
best
signed
one.
as wide receiver, said that they implied while he was in negotiations that another quarterback's coming.
Interesting.
Because it's like, well, what's what's the team going to look like? Is this worth it? And
He doesn't seem too happy to be here, does he?
well, I mean,
Well, I
no,
know what I signed up for.
well, no, right. Well, I mean, obviously they're in a transition.
Yeah.
Russ, I was thinking about what you said. I know, 5-12 makes us, gives us better opportunity to draft, but I'll take 8 and 9 right now next season. I need this team to be competitive. I need to have interest watching these games. I'm tired. That rooting against the Patriots was not fun for me.
I'm with you. I'm not going to root against them. It depends on who we're watching playing. Like if we get one of these quarterbacks and it sounds like may need to sit for a while, but if like we're having fun watching these guys play and they're the young guys and they're playing, they're making mistakes, but they're playing, you could see the ceiling and they win 5 or 6 games. I'm not rooting against them, but I wouldn't be bummed if we had fun watching them and they ended up winning 5 or 6 games. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to root against them next year like I did this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
and by the way, a corollary of that trade back scenario, if like they got Minnesota or the Giants or whoever's next year's first in that package, now if they only win, say, 5 or 6 games, they'll have a decent draft pick, and now they got the ammunition to move up themselves
Yeah.
to get the quarterback they like next year.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if they're going to get a king's ransom if they trade down.
Well, that market's been set. The Miami got 3 to move back. San Francisco paid 3 to who was it to move up?
So you'd be happy if they determined, if they publicly say we weren't thrilled completely with the top 3 quarterbacks, the Vikings 11-23 in the first round pick next year.
If they don't like the quarterback, if the quarterback that is left, they like him, take him. If not, do that.
Would you do that deal, Joe?
In a heartbeat. If I didn't like the third quarterback, didn't think he was a franchise quarterback, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Russell?
And wait till next year.
I'm totally with Joe. If it's Drake May and you don't think Drake May's the guy, or you think Drake May is going to need to sit for 2 years, someone said something, it might have been Zolak, I read it, said, if your quarterback needs to sit for 2 years, he's not a top 5 pick. Sorry. Jordan Love sat for 2 years or 3 years. Jordan Love was picked late in the first round.
Yeah.
I don't know about, like, if you don't think Drake May can play for at least a year and maybe 2 years, you do got to question whether he should be the 3rd pick in a draft.
Yeah, and Jordan Love had a Hall of Famer in front of him too.
That's right. Right. So I would, if you don't like the quarterback, then you do the deal. I'm totally with Joe. And I have no way of knowing whether they should like these guys or not. Who am I
You
to
can
say?
wait until the next year to get the quarterback.
Well, that's where it gets a little dicey. That's where I actually say yes. So, but I get it. But what if Minnesota, if you end up with their first pick, or we do win 7 games and we're at 12 again, I'd rather get Penix or Nix or McCarthy this year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I hope
That's what I want.
one of those guys will last to the second round. A lot of people don't like left-handed quarterbacks because you got to change your whole offense.
Yeah.
Because now the receivers got to run their routes backwards because the way the field is flipped.
Well, Penix has injury concerns too, also.
Yeah.
Although tremendous injury concerns.
But boy, he can throw the ball. He's just got he throws the ball beautifully.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to evaluate any of these 6 people.
Yeah.
Right. I just don't. Right. I have no way of knowing. So just, rely on your grades, grade them out. And to Joe's point, if the guy who you end up with is really a 10th pick in the draft, then don't pick him 3rd. That seems insane to me.
So Bob Kraft, well, first of all, Mayo a month and a half ago says that we're gonna burn cash, and
You
next thing
didn't
you
know,
know,
John.
Bob Kraft had him in the office clearly and said, "We're not doing that." And then he says, "Oh, I take it back." And the fact is, they really haven't spent much in free agency. They're going to end up rolling
Well,
over.
they're going to have to eventually, Scotty, or they got to give it to the
No,
Players
no, Joe. They
Association.
roll that. They can roll it over. They can roll that money over to the next season.
There's a
No,
minimum.
you can only so much roll
They
over.
have to spend a 90% of the cash, right?
Yeah,
Or
or
something
else
like
you
that.
got to
Yeah.
give them the difference to the Players Association.
Yeah.
So
I think they're going to do it with extensions for Barmore, probably sign Duggar.
Yeah.
I think that's how they're going to do it. They're going to give extensions to guys.
okay, and I want Judon. I like Judon, but he's at the back end, and
Mhm.
I think he has some value. Last thing I want to be doing is giving him extra money and extending him because next time we're in the playoffs, would you agree that Judon won't be on the field for the New England Patriots?
I agree with that. Joe, do you think you could get a second round pick for Judon?
You don't get anything at this time of year for
Yeah.
linemen, linebackers. You know, everyone's looking at quarterbacks and wide receivers right now.
Yeah.
And later on in training camp, you might be able to.
Yeah.
If someone is short on the defensive line, you know, that off the ball, on the ball linebacker. I mean, you know, if someone's short there, you might get someone to jump, you know, because
Yeah.
now the draft is over with. It's not till next year. You know, they don't have to sell that to the fans.
Yeah, look, Barmore extension will be very popular in this town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, he solidifies a very important position, as we know, on your defensive line. And those guys do not grow on trees. So he's a unique skill set. So, yes, I hope he's taken care of. But again, Elliot Wolf is going meticulously slow, adding some pieces. It's going to be very interesting, but we need a little star power. And
Mm-hmm.
a Drake May or Daniels, we don't know how they'll produce in the field, but they are star power going into training.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we need an interesting storyline. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Give me something fun to watch. Give me an offense that's fun to watch. I can't look at that again. It's been torture. It's been 4 years.
It wouldn't matter
basically.
if you had a rookie quarterback, he'd be handing off and throwing screens and
But what?
slants.
Look, fine. You get a rookie quarterback out there who is exciting to watch, and he's going to throw 15 plus interceptions. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you tell me that going in, and you're going to start the rookie quarterback like it's Daniels, say it's Daniels and not May, and you say we're going to play him, we're going to protect him, he's going to run around a little bit, he's going to hand the ball off, but he's probably going to throw 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions and cost them some games. Okay, that's just part of the development. He has to go through that period.
I agree.
Right?
I think the pro days for Daniels in May are going to mean everything. I think it's going to be pretty clear the pecking order after those two events. So we'll see. All right, we got to go to the Red Sox. First of all, we have to talk about Ohtani. Well, let's talk about Ohtani.
Yeah.
Look, everything's about gambling now.
Mm-hmm.
They sold their soul. Major League Sports have sold their soul to gambling. Okay, so it's disingenuous to all of a sudden be so amazed that these players would be involved with gambling now. That's what you bought into. However, this story already is bad on so many levels. You got the interpreter changing his story multiple times already. You have Ohtani changing his story.
Oh yeah.
This is what the internet lives for. Is stories like that. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, you can't make it go away like the NBA buried the Michael Jordan story.
No.
Now you can't do it.
No.
I mean, I'm sure Major League Baseball will try to, but they won't get away with it.
How much a distraction will this be, Russ? I mean, obviously, when this is not a Dodgers show, forgetting about Dodgers, for Major League Baseball, because he is your main player in the sport.
I mean, he's the He's it. This thing smells funny, right? Like there's just something not right about this. And you really, really hope for the sake of the sport that they don't start digging around in it and find like, yeah, the payment wasn't because the interpreter got in a jam. The payment was because Otani got jammed up with the bookies. And that's just that would be a massive, massive scandal for baseball.
I'm sure the interpreter was the one placing the bets, but he was placing them for Otani.
Of course he was.
Well, I'm not sure about that. It's certainly a possibility. I don't know we can be sure about that, but like it's certainly a possibility.
Yeah. But the thing is, if they investigate and they find out it's written in stone in the rule book of baseball, if you bet on baseball, it's automatic 1-year suspension.
Yeah.
If you bet on any game that involves your team in any way, it's lifetime. It's the Pete Rose.
It's a problem, guys, because this all came about because the FBI is investigating. So MLB can say they're not doing any investigation.
That's always the way. It never comes out.
Yeah, and the FBI, Joe Russell, want to get a big fish like this. They,
It's
they've
good
had a lot of
pub for them.
publicity over the last few years. They wouldn't mind getting Otani.
I guess. I mean, is that true though? I mean, does the FBI look into? I don't know. I wouldn't assume anything. I think we got to be careful and say, oh, it's definitely Otani. It smells funny.
Yeah.
But it's not definitely anything yet. It'll be super interesting to see how hard they dig though, Scotty, because does the FBI want to bust the Major League Baseball's top player? Do they really?
I don't know. Look, if you have a friend who's got a gambling problem and you lend and say, here's $500, so you don't get your legs broken. When he comes back to you for another 500, you got a problem. You got to stop gambling. $4.5 million.
Yeah.
And then apparently he wrote on the checks loan. I mean,
it's something smells funny. That's for sure.
And
it's too big a number to be just between friends type loaning money.
Yeah, look, this smells because again, forgetting about it's the inside scoop stuff. That's the whole Pete Rose thing, is that he was getting inside scoops unbeknownst to managers. He was talking to them during the day. They were telling him, oh, our pitcher, he's got a hamstring problem. I don't know if he's going to start tonight. And then Pete's immediately calling his bookie. So that's, it's beyond, the betting on the Dodgers. If Otani has inside information and is giving it to the interpreter, he's complicit.
Yeah.
I
hadn't thought of that angle.
Yeah,
he could be telling him, so and so's hurt with, on the Angels, and
yeah, there you go. It changes everything. And again, also, he's a Japanese ball player. Those, the Japanese are very respectful. They try to do everything right. People, he's going to be a disgrace if this comes out, and it's going to be very interesting to see how much pressure he can take.
Yeah, I wonder how the press in Japan is treating this.
They're covering it.
I think we're at the very. This just seems like we're at the very, very beginning of something that's going to go on for a bit.
But as far as baseball's concerned, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
No, Joe.
Oh, dude.
They want to stay in the news. They haven't been in the news
not
at
like
all.
this. This is a killer. I mean, this is devastating for the league. This would devastate the league. It would be horrible. Horrible.
He's
your
the
best
biggest
player.
star. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst thing that could happen, other than the umpires being, in a gambling conspiracy. That's it. But the second worst thing is your best player getting jammed up in a gambling controversy.
But we're talking big numbers too.
He's not million small time.
Remember, if that's what if we're supposed to take this on the surface, that's what he lost So he pissed through a hell of a lot more because obviously he won games
Well,
too and stuff.
right.
So
Whoever made the bets, right. Whoever made the bets, again, whether it was Otani or you knew about it or the kid or whatever, but like, yeah, you're right. If you lose 4.5, that probably means you got to be $20 million. You can probably put $20 million into play, right?
Yeah,
right.
he's probably won, quite a bit too. When they start figuring out where the money came back to, that's when you'll start getting some answers.
This is really bad, and the Dodgers tried so hard to just outspend
Oh, and that
the
pitcher
league.
shit the bed yesterday too. Did you see
Yeah,
his
I know.
line?
Yeah, I know he's terrible. All right, we have to go to the Red Sox. We talked about this a few weeks ago, and Russ, you made a great point. The Red Sox became a line item the moment they traded Mookie Betts. So why are we even bitching and moaning? This has been going on for 5 years.
Yeah. They basically changed their philosophy in that off season, and it's never been the same, really.
So, and this is just a continuation, Joe, of just John Henry.
A policy decision that's continued to this day.
And now they're not even trying to better the team. Guys like Lorenzen, who would have been $4.5 million, they'd stay way under the luxury tax. You get a guy who could eat some innings. They weren't even involved in it. And now they're saying, we're going to see what guys get put on waivers and we're going to monitor that very closely.
Here's the thing I don't understand. Like Kennedy has said this a couple times. Basically, they're saying when the team gets good enough for us to invest big money in free agents, we'll invest big money in free agents. But the problem is you're probably not going to get good enough to invest money in free agents unless you invest money in free agents, right? Especially when you can say, well, they rely on their farm system, sure, for everyday players, but there's no pitching coming up in the farm system that's going to push them into contention.
No.
This is all just like circular logic.
Right. And what's wrong with signing a 29-year-old pitcher? He could still be around in 32,
Nothing.
33.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've never that I can remember. The Bruins used to have years where they didn't try at all. The Bruins just could care less, and then Jacobs.
No, just make the playoffs and then losing the first round.
They could care, but I can't remember a team, of course, a Red Sox team, and for a long time that had no interest in competing at all, nor even trying to act like they do.
Yeah, you don't remember the Yorkie years.
No, I mean I do. I mean, of course. I mean, I remember, Haywood Sullivan and Buddy LaRue. I know. I'm just talking about in recent times. This is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
It is.
And I again, our hands are tied, right? I mean, as fans, they're not listening to us at all. And now Sam Kennedy's talking about, because he doesn't like the heat, he's going to step down as president of the Red Sox and just be part of the Fenway Sports
SGA.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. They I don't know the way out of it. Like, so when do they let's just say they win 75 games this year. Okay. And they get to the end of the year and they're 75 and whatever. So they take a look at the team and they say, all right, well, a couple of these prospects are up. But we're not good enough. We're still not good enough to invest in big free agent money. So would you do the same thing again next year and say, all right, well, now we're going to play another full season with a bunch of basically AAA or third starters? At what point in time do they get good enough for this team to invest? It's completely circular reductive. Right?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Russ said it. I don't understand the plan at all. But they're losing money by not spending money because Nesson, nobody's going to watch. You're obviously going to lose revenue, advertising, ticket sales, concessions.
Well, I can tell you something about that. I've noticed that when they bought the Penguins, they bought the Pittsburgh version of Nesson. And so now they're firing lots of people because you got redundant jobs between the two TV stations, right? as far as production and stuff. I mean, you need the same number of people, commentators on the field, but behind the scenes, you have redundancy. And so they're saving money there by combining Nesson and the Pittsburgh station. If you see any Pittsburgh Penguin highlights, they're using all the Nesson bugs, the Nesson score bug and everything. Everything is Nesson now from Pittsburgh, and that's the Pirate station too.
But they're not going to make up that's all great.
Oh, they won't make it up.
That's at the margins. Like, I guess, Scotty, the question is, what would have to happen in terms of the reception to the product on the field, whether it's in the stands, dropping attendance, dropping Nesson ratings, to wake up the owners to realize we can't afford another year of kicking the can down the road? I mean, do we think that in August, if they're 25 games under 500, that the stands are still going to be full?
No, I think.
Or are the fans finally going to be like, we collectively, we've been at this for 25 years, 20 something years together, 25 years. Have we ever been as pissed off about this team coming into a season? And I'm talking about the Ralph Houck years. I was even more optimistic about some of these seasons that they had lined up.
Yeah, no. Oh my God, you're the only person who's mentioned Ralph Houck in like 18.
But seriously,
You're
like
right.
those were dark times, but they had star players. They had guys who were going to hit the ball.
Yeah.
You had hope. This team just feels hopeless.
But also they lied to us. They said they were going
They lied to us.
Yeah. And again, I know I'm just a big bore. They raised our ticket prices as season ticket holders. They raised our prices, and with the idea that they were going to spend money on the team. But this is negligence right now. They're not even there's like no team in Major League Baseball right now is approaching this offseason like they are. They're not even doing the due diligence of supporting the pitching staff with AAA players. They're doing nothing. They're acquiring no one. They have injuries and they don't address and add any new players.
Well, how about Cooper Criswell?
I don't even know who he is.
I had no idea who he was. I had to Google his name and read the wiki.
I mean, he's not gonna. He's gonna. I can tell you his line is gonna be 2 1/3, 8 runs, 7 earned.
He's a career like 5.5 ERA.
Just going back to literally the first thing you said, Scotty. Like, I don't understand. In a world in which there's no salary cap, it's just money. They make plenty of money. We didn't at least sign, and they've gaslit us so much that you're sitting there saying, "Sign us a 3rd or 4th starter, and I'll be happy." And I'm like, we've blown past the Blake Snells and the Montgomerys and the Yamamotos in the offseason. Like, we're not even asking for that anymore. How do you not at least bring in? I can't believe that we're having this conversation about Whitlock and Houck again. Whether they can be like pitched 150 innings as starters, much less 200.
Neither has been productive as a starter. Neither. And yet they're going to throw those two at us again.
You mentioned Russ a few months ago. Let's try to give Snell $40 million for, $120 million for 3. Let's blow him out with, big, yearly salary. They could have got this guy for 30 for 1 year, for 1 year commitment.
Yep.
Yeah.
1 year. Everything has actually gone their way as far financially, as far as having these top players available to them at cheap rates. And they still don't dive in.
There's been no market for all these top free agents.
It worked in some level. It just shows you how important the Red Sox are in the competitive market.
If they're not driving the price up,
if the Red Sox are right, if the Reds, I mean, there's only so many storied franchises in Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Red Sox don't, and that's why these agents are publicly complaining that the Red Sox aren't involved. They have nobody even to play off of. The Yankees aren't making a ton of moves because the Red Sox aren't making a ton of moves. That's
Mhm.
how it
And the
used to be.
Yankees have made a ton of moves, and now they're cash strapped.
But now there's rumors that they may get back in on Montgomery at a cheap rate. Remember, they had Montgomery and they
Yeah,
traded him.
and what's his name? The ace is probably out for the season.
Well, Cole, yeah, possibly, yeah. I mean,
Garrett Cole might be out for the season.
this is it's incredible, and I in my lifetime I've never experienced this. That it's funny because I was actually going to call you guys and go, you think it's too late? Should we call up the rep and say that we'd like to get out
Like our money back?
Mhm.
Because I feel like we're getting ripped off this year, and I don't like it at all. I feel like
Yeah, no, it's not going to sit well. I don't know what they would have to do to make me believe, right, that they're recommitted, right? He's not selling this team. It's just it's central. They've got so much real estate. Like there's no world in which they're selling this team anytime soon, Scotty. I just think there's too much going on in the real estate business in Boylston area, that the Fenway area, that they're not selling it. So I had no hope for that. I just hope that in some ways, I hope they're bad enough to make these guys snap out of it and say, we can't do this. We're literally devaluing our asset every week that goes on at this point.
do you think that, and we'll go to the Bruins, but do you think that Warner and Henry are fighting right now at all?
No. I think Warner does whatever the holy hell Henry wants him to do.
Yeah. He's along for the ride, and
He's along for the
very
ride.
lucrative ride.
Yep.
He's done very well on those coattails.
Well, I'm just getting so depressed about this season. It's just terrible. And then
Yep.
all the Red Sox, Twitter pages and Facebook pages, they're all turned on him so bad. And these are rabid
They
fans.
deserve every bit of it.
These guys love their Red Sox, and
Every bit of it. Yep.
It's a disgrace. All right, boys, we finish up with the Bruins. All of a sudden, they have a good week, and the Boston Bruins have the best record in hockey again.
Yeah, they're beating the Rangers 1-0.
Yeah.
They held
That's
on
good
to a
because
lead.
they've lost every game to the Rangers so far this year.
Yeah, they held on to a lead the other night. The other thing that it gets lost in some of this stuff is losing a lead is also because you didn't extend a lead, right?
Yeah.
So you're up 2 goals,
Right.
and you miss chances to go up 3 and 4 goals, and they get a fluky goal. And now the pressure's on in the last minute. They pull the goalie and they score. They got to just keep trying to extend the lead when they
no
have
more
it late.
prevent defense. That's what
No
been
more
their
prevent
problem.
defense.
They can't get the
Totally.
puck out of their end in the
terrible.
third period. It's just ridiculous. They just play it safe.
Yeah.
I just want to mention Tankathon. I love myself some Tankathon.
Yeah.
But they give you the playoff matchups at that real time, the playoff matchups. So that's another great part of the Tankathon.
Don't we have Tampa Bay now?
No, we had Toronto for quite a while.
Yeah.
Now we have the Capitals. And I asked the question,
that's
who
a
would you
boat
rather
race.
play? Would you rather play the Capitals over Toronto?
Oh, any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Because I think Toronto would at least beat you up a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Toronto would be. I mean, I love the Toronto series, and we've got them. We've got them by the tail. Yeah,
that'd be a fun second
not
series.
necessarily the first season. Not necessarily the first series, right?
Yeah.
But Washington has sold everyone on that team so they can keep Ovechkin and get the goals record with him.
Yeah.
There's no one left in that team, just about.
Yeah,
Remember, they sold us a couple guys. It was Hathaway and last
that Orkin. What is it? I can't remember his name. He was good. We love that guy. Orlov.
Yeah.
Orlov, yeah. It's nice to have Pasta signed up for a number of years.
Is it ever?
When you sew up your superstars and then you're just gonna enjoy them and watch them play, and he's taken to another level. He not a complacent guy, having signed that big deal.
I tell you one thing that we got to feel pretty good about is, when all the consternation of having Bergeron and Krejci walk, Coyle and Zach have done the job. They've been fine. They're not where they are. There any issues with the Bruins are not, other than maybe some faceoffs. But there any issues with the Bruins right now don't have much to do with the two replacement centers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just that there's been, they lost 8 guys.
Yeah.
It's a totally new cast, and you gotta,
Yeah, right.
and that's where the inconsistency comes from.
Sweeney's done a nice job in the people that he replaced him with, the players.
Yeah, I mean that goal by Boquist the other night, that was pretty special.
And
Frederick
Geeky's
has
good
been
for a song.
geeky. Frederick has been great. Heinen has returned. Like Sweeney's doing a good job. Like you can't blame Sweeney. He did what we wanted him to do. He went for it last year. God bless him. He had to pay the price this year. And even in paying the price this year, they have like the second best record in an NHL. And he paid the price.
Yeah. But around the margins, like Hein Bloom, he's done really well. I mean, he's developed a nice fourth line from off the street.
Well, what he didn't do, what the Bruins did not do, because had the Bruins done what the Red Sox done, is they would have traded Pasternak for pennies on the dollar, because that's what the Red Sox did with that's what the Red Sox did with Betts at around the same point in their career, like Hall of Fame careers in the making. And the Bruins would have traded Pasternak had they done what the Red Sox
and would have gotten rid of the 2 goalies. That's like getting rid of your pitching.
Yeah,
I'll leave you with
and instead the Bruins signed Pasternak.
Was trading Mookie Betts the most egregious transaction in the history of your sports lifetime? We'll start with Joe.
Oh, with the recency bias, I guess so.
Okay, Russell.
I think it is, Scotty. I hadn't thought of it, but do you remember anything in the Celtics where they traded? We had the Thorne thing. He wasn't really working here with. Yeah, it wasn't, but also wasn't really working here. Like he wasn't putting up the kind of the performances that Mookie was, yet.
He hadn't won anything.
So yeah, I mean, the Celtics never really. Celtics didn't. Oh, the Jeff Bagwell thing was pretty bad.
Yeah. Oh,
that was pretty bad.
I love myself some prospects. I was following him. Used to follow him on the paper on Sundays.
I know.
I loved myself some Jeff Bagwell so much.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame
down in New Haven, right?
No, New Britain.
New Britain. I would say those are the 2 worst. Like, look, in retrospect, the Kendrick Perkins trade was pretty bad by the Celtics.
The timing of it was just so awful,
really bad. Can't remember the Bruin. The Thornton thing was there. In the ballparks. That's Stegen, not really.
No, but I bring that up, Russell, because he was a young superstar in his prime. Everybody,
it's the worst.
People didn't even know the Bruins. They knew Joe Thornton.
Right. Yeah. No, it's in the ballpark. I'm not saying it's not in the ballpark. He just didn't put the kind of performances up that Mookie already had, and Mookie had already won a World Series. But they were similar in the sense that you just got crap back, got crap.
Joe Thornton had
Sturm,
a hell of a career for himself.
Whoa,
Marco Sturm and
wait, your boy, Carlton Fisk, Lynn and Burley.
Well, but that was just a fuck up on the contract stuff. Yeah, so nothing will hurt.
Was the secretary,
Nothing will hurt like Fisk and Lynn and Burleson. That was brutal. That's up there.
A World Series team and just
that's up there.
Devastation.
No, you're right. When they got rid, when they lost Fisk and Lynn and Burleson, basically consecutively, that couldn't have been more painful.
A clerical error, for God's sake.
Yeah. That couldn't have been more painful.
Yeah, so right there and then, that's why there's reason to. I know we won 4 World Series, but Henry has lost me. And
I'm lost. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done with Henry. I don't know what they're gonna have to do, but not good.
We'll just focus on the Celtics and the Bruins right now because this is
right.
Fun. All right, boys. So that's our show for tonight. I want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com. And also check out Lucas Kerman's podcast, Celtics Cast. He's doing a great job on YouTube. We'll be back next week on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Still 1-0 bees.